Hi, second graders. We're going to begin handwriting today by reviewing how to use the paper that you find in your writing folders. So your paper has these double lines like this. And so you're going to think about this paper just like we do with our handwriting books, where we have our tall letters, or we have our small letters, or we have our descending letters. So if I was going to start writing on my paper, I'm going to look at these lines, and let's say I was going to write, I'll start with once upon a time. And so my sentence starts with a capital letter, so I want to make sure it's tall. So it's going to start up here above the line. Once. N is a small letter, so I stay between those lines. So is the C and the E. Oops, I didn't connect all the way. Once. So do you see how I have my small letters between those lines? My tall ones go above. Once. I leave some space. And then P is descending, so I want to make sure that's descending. Upon, those letters are small, they stay between the lines there. Once upon a small time. Oh, I know that the T is a tall letter. Tie, my dot goes above the line. Time. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're using that kind of paper, because just like your handwriting books, we want to make sure that our letters are in the correct spots, whether they're tall or they're small or they are descending. All right, today in our handwriting book, we're going to be working on pages 22 and 23. So let's look at page 22 first. On page 22, we're looking at the letter I. So let's look on our board. If we're doing a capital letter, of course, it's going to be tall. All capital letters are tall. So we start at the very top. We have a straight line down, we cross at the top and cross on that bottom. And then we have our lowercase I. We start on the line, straight line down, bump, and then bring it back up for that dot on top. My board has a bit of a glare on it, but as you can see, I don't make a big old thing like that. My I doesn't need a huge, I just kind of do down and a wee dot. Doesn't need to be huge. All right. And we want to make sure too that, sometimes I'll see the dots and they're like here on the line. You can't really tell that it's an I. So leave enough space. We don't need it like way up here either, but we have our straight line down and just give it a little space. Make sure you can see it, but it's not a huge circle dot for your I. So you're going to be practicing your I's and then writing some other words that have I's inside of them. All right, the next letter we're working on is the E. Let's start by looking at our capital E. So again, we start at the top. It is a tall letter, straight line down, bump the bottom. And then we have a small line, small line, small line for our E. We cross on that middle and the bottom. If we're doing our lowercase e, it is a small letter, so you want to stay between those two lines. So you start by doing a straight line kind of in the middle there, and then you around and down. One more time. The E starts with a little line, and then you go up and around, and then down, and then you curve up that way, and stop. All right, so you're going to be working on your I page and your E page, working on those E's and I's, and then words that have the E's and I's in them. For the E page, we're adding a letter to eed. And so here we have N plus eed, eed for need. And then we have S, and eed, seed. Then we have bl, the BL together, bl, and then eed for bleed. Then we have G for g and et for get. And then we have s, et, set. Then we have y, et, yet. And we have est, est for best. And we have gu together, est, guest. And then r for est, rest. Last one, we're doing ed, ed, red. Then we have B for ed, bed. Lastly, a capital T, so Ed, Ted. Because it's a capital letter, I know that must be the name, Ted. All right, work on those 2 pages. And then what I'd like you to do is you can have an adult check to make sure that it looks right. But also, if there's not an adult around, you can check yourself too. You need to look and you need to think, does this look like the examples? So if I write it myself, does it look exactly the same? If I write it myself, does it look exactly the same? If it looks exactly the same, you did it. And so if there's not an adult around, you can give your own self a check. But if there's an adult, you can also have them check for you. All right, have fun doing your handwriting.